Welcome back to Today's video, playing Coaster. In today's video, we're going to be doing a fairly small build today, and then we're only going to be putting in a food unit here, and also doing our teacups. But this is just finishing up what we left off from the last episode with the classic wooden coaster. Still need names for the log flume and the wooden coaster. As when I'm recording this, quite a few weeks ahead of when the episodes are coming out, so. Probably by the next episode we'll get at least a name for the log flume. But so talked about this in the last episode a bit. I'm going to be putting a fairly big food unit right in here. Have a path that goes through here, and then I'll either put switchbacks for the teacups right here, or I'll have a wrap around and come into here. And then this will be where the entrance will be for the teacups. I don't know entirely yet. It's all how the path will end up turning out, but I'll show you a final product in just a little bit, so I'll see you then. Alrighty, so I finished up the area. This will be our centerpiece to the whole entire, at least this side of the amusement park part of the park. After here, it'll be all water park, and then over here we will be putting in some flat rides and other stuff. But for the most part, most of this side of the river, at least for the theme park, or not theme park, but amusement park, is done. But this area just kind of finished this half all up because it is kind of split in half by this main path. But let's start off with the tour of the final product. So on the ear side here, I did decide to put in some flowers and stuff all throughout the edge of the path, just filling space to make this area look a whole lot nice, and it definitely brought it all together. Over here, we have an not an eatery, but the seating area for the eatery. I'll go in there in a second, but we then have a bunch of flowers in this area too. And we have our back lot here. Put in a dumpster for the bathrooms. And then I also put 2 dumpsters in for the eatery. And then the fence ends here. But guess which guests could technically get onto here, but these plants are supposed to just kind of persuade people not to. But it ain't a big deal if they do come back here, because once they get to here, it's all fenced off, and there's nothing that they really can mess with over here. And then in all the empty space, I just put in a bunch of flowers and stuff. This one does need to be... Actually, this one we can probably just take out, right? Yeah. So, there's that. And then we do just have this random tree in here. I was going to go through and put in some more trees throughout this little bit, but I decided just to leave the one in there. It definitely feels a bit odd, but it feels natural, I'd say. But back to the eatery. It's coming in the doors, glass doors. Got a nice eatery sign on the side there. And then this is just a bunch of food units. So we have Gelato Bros on the side here. And then we have the Sushi, Viva La Vegan, Pip Shot, and Gulpy all along this front here for the main like food stuff. And then, like I said, Gelato Bros is off to the side just because it's gelato, so it's more of a dessert. But I did make a completely custom gelato stand, or whatever it's called, or cooler, I don't know what they're called, but it's where they get like the gelato and ice cream out of. So I might put that in the workshop. If not, it will be in the park file if y'all want to copy it. I believe you can do that. If not, I'm sorry, but I'll probably put this on the workshop though. But I love how this turned out. We have multiple flavors in there. I originally was going off these, but I figured there's just so much room there that just put in a bunch. And then we do have like a little cleaning station for like the scoops. And that originally didn't turn out too nice, but it definitely grew it on me. It definitely looks a lot nicer. Now that it has the glass, everything just all came together too. And then we have the actual stand for it. Obviously they don't queue like how I want them to, but sometimes you gotta live. Well, you gotta compromise, but there ain't many people going to it too, so. And then here I did put in fencing, and then everyone would exit through here, and then also through here for the different shops. And then I was gonna do kitchen stuff, but then decided not to, just to save on percent counter and save on time. So this would be where the kitchen is and back area stuff, and this would just be the front counter where they would have some stuff stocked up, and then they would just bring them from the back into here. And then we have the 2 doors to access that too. Coming along our path, more flowers on the left for, what did we call this, right? Synchronize. And then on the right, we have King Coaster's teacups. And so that's making a return from the last series. Got nothing much else to say. Just an easy theme for the teacups, and don't really gotta do much other than put a big giant king coaster in the center. But I definitely like how this turned out. Big cowpen here. Probably way too much capacity for the queue, but figured might as well put that in. We could get more than 6,000 guests in here, they would probably be able to fill this up, but since we can't, we ain't gonna do. And then this is just the same sign from the carousel too. And then this is just a scaled down version of the painted western fence too, for the queue and also the entire outside of the ride area. And because of the flowers here, that does work as a double fence. And even where there ain't flowers, it's just a pretty big gap where you clearly aren't supposed to be. So works out in that if they need to access it by truck, they could obviously do over here. But I put in this little access here where they could just take out the fence temporarily and then access it. But that's more so something for off-season stuff. But yeah, there's also such a king coaster at the front there too. But I definitely love how this brought the whole entire area here together. Now this, or at least this, all in frame, is all done. And then we have put in all the coasters for this series. We still have the water park area to do, that we do have the train to do. And then, like I said, we have these flat rides over here. Water park will probably be 2 to 3 episodes, maybe 4. So it's honestly got in a pretty good space, because I do have to fill it in all the way to the train. Because I'm kind of locked in with where it is unless I want to rearrange it, but I don't really feel like doing that. And of course I could just obviously make the flower rides come out a bit more, but I don't think I'm going to do that. But probably in another episode where I do a smaller build like this, I'll do the train. Or like I said, I might just give it its own episode like I did in the past of what I was saying. But so now, most of the theme park's now done. That's enough rambling for me, but if you have enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Do see you next one. Bye!